Hello everybody, how's it going? I'm Alejandro Perez, the CGI Nerd, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at using functions and blueprints. This is a continuation of the Blueprint Basics tutorial series, so if you're interested in seeing more of that information, check out that playlist. Let's get started with working with some functions. To start off, we're going to be creating a blueprint class. It's going to be based off of actor. Let's call this my blueprint. Okay, so inside of here, I'm going to adjust the input defaults from the class defaults to player 0 just because I'm going to be using some button presses. I'm going to get rid of all of these. And let's take a look at creating a function. Now, a function here on the left-hand side, we can create a function. And when we do that, you can see it creates a new tab, and it puts it over here. The name it gives you is new function, but you can change that to be whatever it is. So we're going to kind of do a little test scenario with jumping. So what we're going to be doing is, let's call this my jump function. There we go. So you can see that updates the name, and we got that there. When we look at the function, we can see that we have some information here that we can do. But basically, the function is going to encapsulate some information that we can use to call it in the event graph to make things a little bit easier. Like I said, we're going to be working with button presses. Let's start off with a left mouse button press. So we'll add that here. There you go. And since I know I'm going to need a couple more for the examples I'm going to do, I'm just going to add them now. Right mouse button, and then I'm just going to add a event J for jump. There you go. So when we push J on the keyboard, we can get a jump action here. Okay, so when we do this, I'm going to do the normal jump here with the press down. I'm going to go here, and let's type in my jump function. So you can see it's available here now that we can access. There we go. If we double click on this node here, it jumps you into that other tab where we can do the information for the jump. So let's say we're going to just do an example. So we're going to do a print statement here. So print string, there we go. And I want to have it do a jump. So I'm going to create some variables here, and we're just going to make it jump upwards. So I need a variable. This is going to be a float, and then on this float I'm going to create a name for it. So let's say this is the Y position. Okay, and then I'm going to create a second variable. This is going to be we're going to rename it to be jump height. Okay, so we have the jump height now, and we have the Y position. So what we can do is, let's say, get the Y position, and I want, actually, let's not get the Y position, but let's set it. Set Y position. So we don't have a default. Let's say the default, once I compile it, is going to be set to 0. That's perfect. Jump height, let's say we have a default of 10. And go here, we can get that value there. And then we can say that in order to set it, we're going to add a float and a float together. So let's go float plus float. So we have the jump height, and it's going to be going off of the Y position. So let's drop that in. Get Y position. So whatever the Y position. So connecting the Y position there, we can add both of these together, the Y position and the jump height, and we're going to be setting the value of that to the new Y position. Then we can reroute this here. So we want to set it first, and then print the string. The string, let's format it so that we can see it a little bit clearer. Format text. And then I am going to go ahead and say you jumped, and then with a curly bracket we can say jump height. So you jumped units high and are now at NPOS for new position. Units. Okay, so the jump height, we know that is going to be from that value, and then the Y position is going to be in that value. Okay, so let's compile everything, make sure it looks good. It does. In the back graph, we can see that we're pushing the left mouse button, and we are running that jump function. So let's test it out, see if it works. Let's drop this blueprint into the scene and play the. And now when I click, I am getting hello. Let's fix that really quick. It's inside of my function here, and in the string, I just didn't connect this last part. There we go. So we're converting the text into a string. Let's compile everything and test this out. So when I click, you jump 10 units, now you're at 10 units high. You can see as I click, he's jumping higher and higher, and not always by 10 units. Okay, so now, oops, let's escape there. And, okay, let's go back into the blueprint. And we have a jump working, but what if we wanted to kind of have different types of jump, like a normal jump or a super jump or something like that? So let's say this was a, we'll rename it normal jump, and we had a super jump, and this is going to be a float as well. If we compile this, we can set a default, and maybe the super jump is 15 units instead of 10. Right now, with the way we have it set up, we can't get that extra functionality, but what we can do to be able to do that is, let's go to the function here, and we'll add an input. New parameter. Let's put this as a float value, and we'll call this jump height. You can see that it updates it here, so we can see that it is taking an input for the jump height. And then let's say with the left mouse button, we'll do a normal jump. And then with the right mouse button, let's get that value. We can copy this. And we're going to be using the same function, but we're going to do that. Let's delete this really quick, and just so that it refreshes correctly, my jump function. Compile. Well, it should work. Let's double check it, make sure that it does work. Okay, so when we go in here, you can see that the jump height is there. So what we can do is connect that jump height instead of this normal jump that we have here. So we can connect that there, and we can connect that there. Let's delete the normal jump from here. So now we're getting the information from outside of the function. I'm going to right click on this and refresh node. There we go. That helped it out where it didn't say new parameter anymore and it just said jump height, which is what we're expecting. So now one has the super jump and one has the normal jump. Let's compile this. Everything looks good. And then let's play this. So if I push the left mouse button, I'm jumping 10 units, and then the other one is 15 units. You can see that the text is a little bit off, so let's double check that really quick, because we want it to print out two different values. So we want that to go to the jump height, and then the position goes here. There you go. That should fix it. We got some wires crossed, but that will make it work for us. Let's see if we can make it a little bit less crazy. Okay, so that gets us there. Let's compile and double check the functionality of it. So here we can see it's incrementing by 10, and then if I right click instead of left click, we'll be going by 15 units. So we got a super jump there, so we have the ability to jump a little bit higher, but we're using the same function, we're just adding different variables. So that's kind of where we can start seeing the power of using a function, and then we can use the same script because it's doing the same thing, but we can input different values. And if you needed to output this to do something else, you could. So like for example, this part right here is not really setting a jump. It's doing two different things. We're doing the jump function here, and then we are outputting or displaying the jump. So what we can do here is right click on it and collapse to function. When we do that, you can see that it gets all of those connections there. Let's say we do display jump. So that is what that is doing. Here in the jump function, we're running another function, but let's delete it so that we can see setting up some outputs. So here in there, we're going to add another parameter. This is going to be the jump height, and I'm going to add that as float. And then let's add another variable here, and on this one we'll call it new or n position. There you go. So we're returning that. So the jump height, we're going to use that same value there. Output the jump height, and then the new position is here. Let's go into the main event graph here, and here we can go in and type in display jump. We can connect the actions here, and jump height and new position. So we're getting the outputs from one function and feeding them into inputs for another function. Let's compile this, and I can do a display jump function, connect it here, and compile everything. And then we can play. I can see it's not working now, so let's double check what's going on. So it just views everything as zeros, and the reason for that is that I didn't connect the execution string to make sure that it returns the values that we're looking for. Okay, so let's compile that. Everything is compiled. Let's go ahead and play it. And here we can see we're incrementing by 10, just like we were before. And when I right click, we are doing it by 15. Okay, so that is the general idea of doing functions in this manner where we can get different values. But you can see that we're actually needing an execution string to run through this, and anything that we connect down the line here is going to be executed just once. But what if we need it to execute multiple times? So let's say I'm going to take the jump function and right click on it, duplicate it. This is going to be my double jump function. So actually, let's rename this because it's not truly a double jump, because we can, the function itself, we can do it my pure jump function. So that's what we're going to use the J here for. So let's look up my pure jump function, and we're going to use it as a double jump. The only thing is that it's still a normal function here. Let's make it pure. When we select it here, we get the option to checkbox the pure. And we can see that we don't have the execution strings now. So we can use a normal jump or a super jump, just like before. So let's use, well, we have the super jump close by here. We can directly connect that if we wanted to, or we can do a different get one, but let's just use this right here. We're gonna double jump, might as well super jump, right? Okay, so then we'll go here to display jump, and then we need to connect both of these here. Okay, so we got that working now. Let's test this really quick to make sure that it's working properly. So if I go back here and I push the J key on the keyboard, you can see it is going up by 15, which is exactly what we want. Okay, so let's take this and copy it. We'll have a second one, and we're also going to need a function here from the myJump function. So I just selected it, Control C, Control V, that copies and pastes it. Then let's say the jump height for the second one is going to be normal. We can connect the execution string here, and a jump height and end position. So that gives us the ability to run it separately in a chain like this, so that we don't need the execution string. Let's compile that there, and let us play. Okay, so if I push J, you can see now it, on a single press, it executes it twice, and we have two different joint strings like that. So it is a function, but it's running slightly differently, and we would connect it differently that way. So that is the basics of functions. I hope you found this useful. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, comment down below, let me know anything that you would like to see more tutorials on. Other than that, let's see you guys in the next video. Bye!